So welcome, Fran, aka MoRsei, and hi. And today we will dive a little bit into offbeat parts and also how to make a cool grid in there. So very exciting, very nice to have you here.
Big honor to be here, and yeah, excited as well to show this project. I've been working on it for a long time. Will be released at the end of the year, so really nice. So basically, what we will see today is the main drops of the track, which carry a lot of energy. It's really nice for the dance floor. So I want to show mainly the drops and how I make the grid section, which is a call and response from the sounds, and also some transitions, which are really needed in the track. So let's dive into it. I will play it from here, which is the open hat part, and we go into a drop in the middle section. So this will be nice to show.
Time travel has not yet been invented, but 30 years from now, it will have been. It will be instantly outlawed, used only in secret. Time travel. 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 Time travel.
Let's go until there. I think should be nice to see what's happening here. Basically, the main hook of this track is a vocal, in my opinion. So basically, what I did here is make a small grid section, which is a call and response section with the vocal, and we'll have many effects playing along with the vocal, just making this call and response. So I have a stab here. You'll see. Well, actually, I have many stabs. So. And I have some leads that will play rhythmically, and we'll also make the rhythm with the stabs. So let's play it here.
Time travel.
So you see here, for example, I will have a stab playing in the offbeat. This one. So this one will be playing every 2 bars on the offbeat. It will give some rhythm to it. Also, it will kind of make this call and response.
Time travel.
So there we have a call and response, right? And then we will have this side sequence I have here that it's rhythmically matching everything.
Time travel. Time travel. Time travel. Time travel.
So you see, it kind of replies to the vocal as well when it goes into this part, right?
Time travel.
So that's the main idea behind the grid section, let's say. And then we have this synth that it's also helping kind of drive into the next part.
Time travel. Time travel. Time travel.
So you see there's spaces in between that they are kind of they are empty, right? So for those spaces, I always use mainly some effects that will just will just help, that they will just help cover up the space in between the parts. So we don't have so much of these stabs like replying to each other like continuously. Otherwise it would be kind of boring, right? If I would have it like repeated like this, yeah, maybe it's too monotonous. So having something in between, for example, this. So just like a small hit there, like texture. And for example, here.
Time travel. Time travel. Time travel. Time travel. Time travel.
So it kind of makes this all cohesive thing playing along together, right? Also, let's see if I'm not missing anything in this part. Let's play it again. Okay, now we can jump into this part, which is basically the same concept, the same concept. We're going into this part, we are having this flanger lead here, which is gated in a way that it will have this kind of rhythmic thing going. And I will keep going with a stab because I want that rhythmic part there. And you will see here that I will add some effects on top just to cover up as well, like we did in the previous part, right? So I actually had more effects there, but I don't know where they were. There's so many sounds, man. Too many sounds. But anyway, that's the basic principle into this part. Basically, just call and response, some leads playing. Also, there's a lead playing that, yeah, it should be around here. Wait. Yeah. The lead playing here, which is from the original. So basically, it's also a hook from the original. So I want to use it. So I definitely want to use it. And this one is just going into a break and. So yeah, we have a lead playing as well here from the original, which is carrying into a break. But yeah, that's the whole middle section, and the whole call and response section from the middle part.
In the description box below, you will find a link which takes you to my newsletter. And if you sign up, you get some free samples, a mini sample pack, which you can use to experiment around and build your own grids.
So do you have any questions, Andy? You want to?
Yeah, actually, I have two. So
nice.
You said like that you have some kind of like stable elements in the grid, like the stabs, for example.
Yeah.
And you have the FX. So
Yeah.
How much would you say should be repeating or looping in a grid? I mean, obviously it's not a formula or something. And how much is kind of like one-shot effects? And yeah, that's the first question. The second one I will put after it.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, I mean, it depends on the style as well, I feel. I mean, if you listen to, let's say, Twilight, they have so many, like, or more Twilighty music, they have just like call and response, like going crazy, like a grid section with like 10 sounds like replying to each other, right? But if you do more, let's say, like full on progressive, like let's say from 140 to 145, I would say I would say the best thing is not to repeat extremely much, because otherwise it can be let's say, yeah, it can be monotonous in a way. But it depends, it depends on the section you're working on. Sometimes like really rhythmic stuff that you just like play 3 sounds replying to each other and looped, they work, but it really depends. For this part, at least, for sure, I would go for a more, let's say not too loaded with sounds part, So I would have just this stuff replaying, repeating every 4 bars, and the other ones just like the vocal call and response and the sequence, and that's it, and then you have like the fill ups there. But yeah, it really depends. I feel it's subjective according to the part you're working on. You have to kind of like check what you want for the part,
What about the rhythmic positions? So, I mean, we've seen the stab is always in the offbeat, but do the one shots also, even if they are different one shots, maybe repeat in some positions? So let's, for example, say you said you repeat the stab every 4 bars. Is there an effects, for example, in every other second bar, like in 147 in the middle, for example, and in 151 in the middle,
Usually what I do is I start with the rhythmical elements. So the rhythmical elements would be this, that like the more rhythmical, right? So it would be this, right?
Time travel.
So there we have like the whole rhythm, let's say, and the filling up, I do it based on which parts I'm missing something. So if I mute this and we play it, you see it's lacking something. It's definitely lacking something as opposed to this. No, you see, mainly they are playing on top of the bar, but that's I mean, it's not necessarily needed that way, you just need to kind of check where something is missing and just fill up with that more, let's say, atmospheric texture sound, that it's filling up the gaps, mainly.
Can you play it one time without the main rhythmic element, so just the fill ups, so as a comparison?
Yeah, let's here. Yeah, also that there's a really, really subtle pad in the background. Yeah. I I actually forgot about that one because it's there, But it's
I feel
it's really
totally
up
like the rhythmic stuff
that
gives
part.
kind of like the dancing in it, and the other stuff gives
Yeah.
the vibe basically of that section.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's more like the rhythmic stuff is the dancing part, and the other filling up the gaps, let's say sounds, they are just giving atmosphere mainly. Yeah, they're just giving atmosphere. So it's it's really important to kind of have something in between the whole rhythmic part, just with reverb and delay that will like give this nice atmosphere in the in the whole part. Otherwise it would feel really empty. It also gives like theme, gives like a nice story, let's say, because it's like all theme sounds, let's say. Yeah, more organic. So I think it's really nice to fill up with that. Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I have one more.
yeah. So sorry.
Do you have any good tips for making a good rhythmic question and answer thing? Or ask the other way around, what would make a bad question and answer thing?
The position on the main stab is important. The position in the main stab is important. So, for example, in this one, this would be the main stab, right? This one would be a main stab. And usually you kind of want it after the first kick or after the third kick. Usually that's the best position. And you kind of build around that. You kind of build around that. Usually that's what best worked for me, always. And I think after you get the main stab, you just build around that, and you try not to repeat too much. You ask me like what would make like a bad grid, let's say, right? And yeah, I mean, what makes a good grid? I think a good column response. It would be that it's really catchy, and you can actually listen to it over and over, and it's really nice. And what would make like a bad grid, or let's say column response? It's that it's too monotonous, and that you don't want to listen to it like over and over. So the main mistake, I think, that, and it happens to me as well, when I start a column response section, sometimes I just like place everything like kind of, let's say, in a boring way. For example, I just do this, let's say, for example, and I have like a response on top of the bar, and that's it. Yeah, that would be like really, really boring and not too entertaining, right? So this variety of sounds, the thing where we have like this one replying to this one, and then we get a response from the sequence, and then we get a texture sound in between. That's what makes it interesting. And it's not, it's actually not a hard thing to achieve, but it takes time to get, for new producers, it takes time to get the rhythm feeling. I think it's something you adopt with time. It's and it happens to me after a decade of producing. I still like improve it, from time to time. So I think it's mainly that. I think it's just as you get better, you get a better rhythm feeling, and you start doing things more entertaining, and it's totally unconscious. It's only unconscious. You just honestly you end up not thinking about what you're gonna do, right? You end up like not even thinking like, okay, I'm gonna put this sound here, or I'm gonna put this sound here. You just do it, and it just clicks, every time. So it's all, like I always say, it's all practice. But if I have to give an advice, it would be, first, get the offbeat stab, a nice offbeat stab, which will play after the first kick or after the third, and build around that with different sounds interacting with that one.
You mentioned first and third. So is it because of the snare, which plays in the second and the fourth?
Yeah. Actually, if I think about it, it's because of the snare, But I do it unconsciously, but it's mainly because of the snare, probably.
Cool. Yeah, that was actually all my questions. So we can move on if you want.
Nice. By the way, one more thing. I'm playing an offbeat bass, and usually when I do offbeats, I do tend to reinforce the beat, like here. But in this case, in this track in particular, I did the stab in the offbeat. But in the rolling bass lines, so the normal Psytrance 1/16 bass line, I would go always more, with the offbeat like this. Like always like this.
Okay, nice. This brings me to another question, actually, because we are mainly moving in 1/8, so the melodies, the rhythms. Are there any elements you play off that 1/8 grid, especially like in the ambient stuff and the vibe stuff?
Yeah, actually, the ambient stuff is playing on the beat. Yeah, it's playing on top of the beat. If you see there.
Yeah, but is there anything kind of like in the not on the beat and not on the offbeat, but on the the other 16th positions?
Usually I tend to avoid playing, but it depends. If it sounds nice, you can do it. It's about trying stuff as well. It's not really that there's no formula to it. I feel it's more about trial and error. You just like try to feel the rhythm and try to do everything accordingly, but definitely, like, what helps the most and what helped me the most is always getting this offbeat stab there that will definitely help build around it, so you have like a structure with it, let's say. So that's it. The only thing I can say, I always tend to kind of repeat in my tracks. So I always have this offbeat stab playing every 4 bars or every 2 bars. And I build around that.
We have a really huge announcement to make. We will do a remix contest for our students, and it will be one of MoRsei's best tracks which you can remix. So maybe you can tell a bit more about that.
Yeah, the track is Jungle Visions. It was released on Digital. It's a really nice track to remix. It has many elements. I think anyone who does the remix will learn a lot. So anyone who wants to join the course and wants to get a chance to remix the track and get it released. So anyone who wants to participate can read the details in the description. And we're eager to listen to your remix then.
That will be a huge chance for everybody, and it's really exciting. Yeah, and there's something really amazing which happened in our course. We have 3 students now releasing a DACU records, and the honor goes mostly to MoRsei because he's coaching every one of the students. So you get feedback from top of the source here, so you get the knowledge right explained into, and you see how good he can explain and how much knowledge he has. So thank you very much for like teaching those students and bringing them along in the way, because it means a lot to them.
Thanks so much, Andy. It's a big honor to be part of the course. Honestly, the guys are doing amazing. They are already top producers. First track, and they are releasing a DACU. It's unbelievable. I never thought they would progress that fast, so only months or maybe 1 year into the course, and they are already releasing in DACU. It's unbelievable. I remember my first track. It was if I compare their tracks to mine, there's not even a comparison. So I'm really honored to be part. I'm really proud of the guys and happy.
Yeah, same for me. And if you guys want to join the course as well, and if you really want to level up your music career so that people are listening to your music and then you can release at labels, then you find all the information in the description box below. And then we hope to see you in the course. So thanks so much for being here. It was really interesting. It was a pleasure to see all the little tricks of the trade from like a top pro. So yeah, thank you very much for sharing all that knowledge with the guys here.
My pleasure. It's a big honor to be part of the course. Everyone in the course is doing amazing. So I'm really happy to share with everyone my projects for them to see what's happening in the project. It's much easier to learn when you actually see the projects from a more experienced producer. I always wanted that when I was starting, and it was really hard to achieve that, because it's hard to see someone share their project. So I'm really happy to share and for the guys to learn.
Yeah, that helps so much, like to have a little bit of guidance in the beginning. I felt completely lost when I started. It's so amazing.
Same experience for me. So I'm really happy to share that with everyone.
And everybody who wants to join the course, there's a link in the description box below where you find all the information about the course. And I hope to see you guys in the course. And I hope to see you, MoRsei, on the next tutorial soon. So bye-bye.